Things they didn't tell you about full-time RVing. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Want to skip ahead, look below in the description. I've got all 15 things laid out, so you can take a look at all 15 things by item and skip ahead if you like. Alright, let's get started about the first one. The first one is, they didn't tell me, and I'd RV'd before, right? They didn't tell us that, hey, parks close at different times of season. Now, maybe from somebody from the north, that's common sense. From us, from Florida, I didn't realize the parks, say, here in Ohio, in January, would be closed. So, that's number one, that RV parks close different times of the year. You know, Florida, they're open all year round, so missed that one. Number two, you don't need as much stuff as you thought, right? So we downsized from a big house to an RV, and we thought, wow, how are we going to fit all this stuff in here? Clothes and this and that. And you realize after a year or 2 years, I'm not even using this stuff. I actually find we've got more space than we need and almost too much stuff now. It's crazy how 2 years plus later, I feel like we got too much stuff. So number two is you don't need as much stuff as you need. Number three, things that people didn't tell you. And there's some good stuff and bad stuff in here. So number three is going to be, you're going to shop more. What do I mean by that? You're going to shop more for food. And in the old house, we had a refrigerator in the garage, we had a freezer. Now we're shopping more because, you know, it's nice in some ways because you got seasonal produce, you can get different things you wouldn't get at home. So you're going to shop more. You're not going to have as much room to put in the 10 pounds of beef that's on sale. All right. Here's a fourth one that has been really tricky. It's hard to get packages. They didn't tell me this. It's hard to get the Amazon that we're all addicted to. And again, if you're staying someplace long term, you know, like in 1,000 Trails Park, some of them say you can get packages, some say you can't. You know, there's all these kind of rules. And then at places they do have packages, sometimes it's just not reliable. So getting packages can be tricky when you're on the road, getting mail. I know there's some hacks for that where you can pick up stuff at Amazon locations and things, but that was a thing we didn't realize, or I didn't realize it's going to be as hard as I thought. I thought an address, I can get stuff delivered, not quite as easy. Another thing that people didn't tell us, we started full-timing, that's a total life hack here on full-timing, is there's no perfect internet streaming situation, number one, and that's what we do. So we thought we could stream, we were rotating, and again, take a look below, there's a video about this, we were rotating in devices to stream, but the hack here is, when you get to a place that's got fast internet, you're at Starbucks or wherever, download a bunch of your programs, YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, and then you can just beam those to your television with Apple TV or some mechanism so you're not using your data, right? And we weren't a satellite people, so that's how it works well for us. So that's a total hack, I think. Download as much as you can, and you can watch it later. All right, number six, right? Number six. You better become a full-time or part-time, at least, handyman. If you're not, you will become one or hate RVing. I knew about RVs because I'd done it, but no one's telling people, hey, as part of this, whether you get a brand new rig, you spend, like behind us, we got a 2001, if you get a 2020 Prevost, you spent $2.5 million, right? There's going to be stuff that breaks. It's just like a house, except you're on the road and you can't call the handy or the builder to come fix it. So you better become a handyman in this world, otherwise you're going to be pretty miserable and be without stuff. This is a good one. Friends and family are wondering when you're going to get over this phase, right? When are you going to be done with this phase and settle down? Now, granted, we'd already settled down, owned a house, raised children, sold the house, but when are you going to get over this phase and get a place again? You know, that's been interesting. People don't tell you, you're going to get those questions, right? When are you going to be through this phase in your life, you know? That's another one that they don't tell you when you're start full-time RVing. It's really hard to find competent tradesfolk. What I mean by that is plumbers, electricians, any of that stuff, because once you say RV, and let's say you go to a place, you ask the local camp host, or you call around, you find somebody, if you put the term RV in as an adjective, RV plumbing, they don't want to come. So finding competent help, it's a lot harder than I thought, because we were going kind of in our home jurisdiction, our home area for a while when we were full-timing, and I had people. But now that we've been away from it, boy, it sure is hard to find people that are good, competent handymen, and they want to work. So that's another thing people didn't tell us when we started full-timing. This is a big one. If you're towing something, and we've got this in our tow vehicle, but if you are towing something you won't hear, people didn't tell you when you started full-timing, or get an RV in general, is get a four-wheel drive vehicle. And you may be going places, it's all cement, like, you know, every place you park, you're on a big fifth wheel, but you may be having time to pull that thing out. You're going to need four-wheel drive. So get four-wheel drive in your tow vehicle. You may not need it, but if you can get it, I would say that's going to be, I've seen lots of people that are stuck in a place because it rained, they're trying to pull that big fifth wheel out, and that four-wheel drive came in handy. We've pulled them out with our four-wheel drive truck. So definitely get a four-wheel drive tow vehicle if you can for your fifth wheel towables. All right, number 10 is going to be, you don't know what you're going to need in solar. So getting solar, I find, is more of, it's better to wait. Let's put it that way. You don't know what your resource requirement is going to be. You don't know how much you're going to pull. Now, if you've got solar, let's just give you an example here. It's just a solar panel, batteries, an inverter just to keep your household fridge going. Got it. But if you're trying to do solar across your whole rig, use it on the whole house when you're off grid, I would say just hold off on that because you're not going to know. Whatever you think you're going to get, more likely than not, you're going to underpower it. And then at some point, there's a limitation on how many batteries you can carry. So you're going to find the way you live is a little different. So hold off on getting big solar projects, full-timing, unless you've got a lot of experience, because you're not going to get what you want. You're going to have to recreate the wheel there, and it's going to be a waste of your money. All right, number 11. We've got a Splendide washer-dryer. Enough said. Now, Splendide washer-dryer, so you get it all in one washer-dryer. It's not, granted, it is nice. But we still go to laundromat at times because that Splendide, A, it's long, you can't do big loads. That's one thing. But everything comes out wrinkled unless you do tiny loads. So no one told us that the Splendide is going to be a nice thing to have, but you know, when you're at a place for any duration of time, or if you're at a campground, it's better just to go plunk it in the laundromat and be done, because those things never work as advertised. Number 12, no one told us. We've got Aqua Hot, and I know a lot of people have propane furnaces, but if you're plugged in shore power, those little tiny household heaters, and I'll put a link below the ones we've got, are amazing. We've got 2 of them in this thing behind me, 45 feet, and we're up in Ohio working at 16 degrees. We can use 2 of these little tiny heaters and heat the whole thing. Periodically there'll be a third. Those little tiny heaters are way better. I hear a lot of people talking about the propane, they run out. Those little tiny heaters are amazing. So consider, no one said, hey, this little tiny heater will heat this thing up. You may need 1, 2, 3, but if you're plugged into shore power, it doesn't matter, right? Because you're already paying as part of your fee. Number 13 thing, always have a cell phone booster on hand. I don't care if you got a Wilson, you got a WeBoost, or whatever. Have the cell phone booster available. Now, I'll tell you why. You look at the map, right, and you may say, hey, we get great signal. I got Verizon, I'm covered. I'm not going to Utah in this area, whatever. We get crappy cell phone service. But you may be a totally great cell area, like where I'm sitting right here. And periodically, I got 3 bars, but I'm getting really terrible download data or upload data. I'm gonna go somewhere else. So that WeBoost is gonna be really effective in, you know, saving you a lot of headaches when you are trying to stream or just have cell phone service for an emergency. All right, number 14. Never trust or fully believe what the camp hosts or the campground folks tell you. And where that comes into play is you say, yeah, I got a 45 footer and I wanna make sure I can find a spot. Do you have one? No problem, we got it. You look at the website, you're like, great. Couple things there. Look at it really closely. It's a rendering. It's not to scale. Can you make the turns? And can you make the turns and back in? If it's not a pull-through slide, can you make the turn to turn enough to back in, right? So ask the question, hey, have you seen a 45-footer in that spot? 45-foot motorhome in our case, not a fifth wheel. Again, a different way you back in. These things don't back in as well as, say, a fifth wheel. And then also ask about the height, right? So, you know, this thing is 13.5 feet. You guys cover me height-wise. We're going to be good. Ask that question. I kind of almost badger the people about it. I don't trust their sites, and I don't trust what they say. Typically, I'll look on the internet, too, because I have not found any consistency in them being accurate with respect to can they fit the rig in, right? Especially when you get out places that's got mountains. Can you make the turns, things like that? It can be a real white-knuckle experience. In data usage on the internet, this is number 15. Data usage on the internet is not solved. We have not gotten to the point where you can stream like you would at home. In other words, unlimited. There's caps everywhere. Now, if you've got an old plan, right, that's got unlimited, truly unlimited data, and you can stream, and you could stream at 1080p, good for you. We have not found any kind of streaming that's been successful to stream television consistently. Because we were streamers, right? So we streamed everything. We had no satellite, we had no cable, and we streamed everything we did in the house, big televisions. And I thought we could do it here, but data for the internet's not solved yet. 5G's not there. So come up with a plan, you know, for your entertainment, your data use. Maybe you got television, you got a satellite, you use over-the-air TV as well, and then you stream, you know, internet stuff for computers and that type of thing. But data is not solved. If you're a streamer, it's not going to get you there. I'm going to add a bonus one. Here's a bonus hack that makes life great that they never told us. When you're hooked up to shore power, you're kind of relying on the water heater, right? To, you know, get enough water in there to heat it up, and then you get these short showers. Think about getting a constant hot water heater, one of these instant on hot water heaters. Maybe you can have a bypass situation there. So you can have a bypass that does your typical propane heater, and bypass when you're plugged into shore that just does the constant hot water. That would be great to be able to take a 30-minute shower. I know we go somewhere to a hotel, leave the rig behind. I take these long showers and baths because I can. You know, so that would be like a bonus life hack. Hey, thanks for watching.